And welcome back to Pure Nebraska. As you know, we are bringing you a live Pure Nebraska show from the State Fair.
Yeah, we always love coming out here.
Yeah, it's fun. It
so
really
much
is.
going on here the final weekend of the fair. And as you know, here on the show, we like to put the volunteers from the farm women's group CommonGround here on the show. CommonGround is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers to know more about how their food is grown. And here today is Dawn Caldwell. Nice to see you, Dawn.
Hi guys, thanks for
Hey.
having me back.
You bet.
How's everything going at the fair for you?
Good, it's been a good fair. They've been lucky. Good weather this year.
For sure.
Have you
It's
been
almost
here?
jacket weather.
Well, I
know,
gotta
right
know.
now it is.
Yeah, we've been here a few times. It's been good crowds,
Yeah.
good shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's 4-H week right now.
This
so-
weekend is 4-H week. Changeover day happens today. So the barns will be full of kids by tonight.
Oh, wow.
That's fun.
And their
That's
animals.
Yeah. Well, you know, cattle are always showcased here at the Nebraska State Fair. How important is this cattle industry to Nebraska?
Well, first of all, we have about 4 beef animals for every 1 human in the state of Nebraska. So you know, land use wise, feed use wise for the corn growers, and for all of us in the business, you know, 95% of our population lives outside of the U.S., but we feed a big chunk of that with cattle from right here in Nebraska. It's fun to think about conceptually. Not that much gets eaten here in Nebraska, even though we all love beef. We have to send a lot away to earn our livings.
That is amazing. And I know this time of the year is weaning time for many producers. So what is that?
Correct. So it's time. That mama cow is tired of having the baby by her side and nursing from her, and so it's time for that baby to go learn to be a teenager. And so we bring the calves into a pen and give them super dense nutrition, you know, keep them healthy and get them ready to go to the feed yards or to a grazing program if they're going to be grass cattle and kept a little bit longer. But it's when mom gets a break, basically, that mama cow, because she's going to have another calf come January through March.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
Is that a lot of
It's
work
good.
for the producers?
It's good. It is hard work. You want to keep them healthy, and you have to check them several times a day. But it's also an exciting time because that's our bread and butter. That's when the income starts being conceivable after we've worked hard for 6 months, you know, to keep that calf alive and well and thriving and gaining weight, and now we move on to the next stage and hopefully see an anticipated income down the road here shortly.
Yeah.
And you know, Dawn, coming to the State Fair is a great time for people to learn more about where their food comes from, as far as beef too.
Yes, absolutely, and we're fortunate right where we're sitting. We're near the beef pit, and of course we encourage a meal there, and those are prime rib sandwiches. But you know, thinking about all the cuts of beef, you know, a whole animal isn't just prime rib. Gosh, if it was, all of us ranchers would be way more well off than we are. So, you know, it's good to know that it comes from our farms and ranches and feed yards here in Nebraska, but there's a lot of other steps it takes to get to the grocery store to put on your plate at home. And in that whole process, there are people that come look at the cattle and buy them, and there are meat packers that process the cattle and get them cut into, you know, into the fabricated cuts that then go to a meat trader, if you will, or distributor, and then it makes its way to a grocery store or a restaurant. And finally then we decide how we're going to prepare that, and if it's shipped to another country, there's another distributor in that country that's purchasing from our exporters here. There are a lot of relationships and a lot of right things that have to happen, whether it's here packaging the meat or feeding the calf on my place or making sure the containers get handled correctly in the ports in the other countries. There's just so many intricacies that have to go well for somebody to have a really good meal when they go visit a resort in Mexico, for instance.
That's true. All
Well,
right.
we're glad you're here to kind of help us understand that. So many things to know about the beef industry. So
It's exciting. It's a big world. Thanks,
Yes,
guys.
it is. Thank you.
all right. Well, coming up, we are going to have more from